You know, because of this episode, even though Soak wasn't a move before, you can retroactively use it to explain why Ash was able to beat Brock's Onyx. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 109 of the Sun and Moon anime just dropped, and it is Ash's final day in Poni Island, as well as his grand trial against Hapu. How did it go? Well, let's find out. Really, the crux of this episode is the battle, so I'll quickly review over what happened in the rest of the episode. It starts early in the morning with Hapu working on her farm, getting all of her radishes, before her Mudsdale reminds her that she has to do her ceremony as Kahuna today, so she says she's gonna get ready. The birth of a Kahuna, Ash's grand trial. We're shown inside the Ruins of Hope where all of our heroes are there waiting for Hapu to become Kahuna, and I actually like this part quite a bit. It really shows you how people become Kahuna and really gives a grand feeling to that title, because before it felt like that title was just another leader title, but this one really gives you a feeling that it's something more. I feel like this is more important than the title of gym leader because you know there's some mystical elements to it. Tapu Fini comes and takes Hapu's Z-Ring and does some mystical magic to it, and that I guess makes her officially the Kahuna. And while this is happening, there's like water spouts from the water. It's very, very cool. And I really like the way that this shows the things that are required to do in order to become a Kahuna. After that, they're outside of the Ruins of Hope, and our heroes congratulate Hapu. Hapu then tells Ash that she's willing to take on his battle, but she's gonna do it here. And she goes around the cliff and she points at the water. Ash can't see what's there at the beginning, but you have to look underwater and there's the battlefield. So that battlefield's only available at night when the tides are low. She tells Ash that she's gonna use her Mudsdale and asks if he's ready, and he says of course I am. And then she calls on her Golurk and she flies away. Since most of them are already done with their research, they decide to just go chill on the beach for a while they wait for nighttime. While they're chilling on the beach, everyone's having fun. Kiawe and Sophocles wonder what type of Pokemon Ash are gonna use, and I actually like this because they're like, we know Ash, he's not going to use the type that he has the advantage with. No, he's probably going to use like a fire type or Pikachu. And Kiawe asks Ash, hey, do you have a plan on what you're going to use? And Ash is like, yeah, I do. And Kiawe just nervously laughs like, alright man. While they're just chilling on the beach, Ash and Lana are just splashing water at each other. Lana splashes water at Ash and it causes him to step on Pikachu, which causes Pikachu to use Thunderbolt and basically shock everyone that's in the water. And that's going to play into the part for the fight. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to show kids who are watching this show, like really young kids, that water conducts electricity. So, you know, if you use electricity in the water, then even though you didn't get directly hit by it, everyone in the water gets shocked. It's supposed to be a nice foreshadowing moment, but it does kind of feel forced because it just kind of happens out of nowhere. If anyone's watched Pokemon before, then you know that this is not the first time they've done this, but I think they need to treat each series as a separate series, so I can understand why they showed it. Who's that Pokemon? It's Brion! Now it's nighttime and the Unova League music is playing, so you know it's time to battle. Somehow everyone's shocked that Ash picks Pikachu, but it's like, come on, you guys know Ash fights with a team that he has a disadvantage against for some reason. In this case, I wish they would have kind of explicitly told the reason, because I feel like a lot of people are going to miss this. But the reason is because the first time he fought Hapu, it was with his Pikachu and he lost to the Golurk. So this is him essentially trying to avenge that loss. I feel like if they would have said that, more people would have understood why he picked Pikachu. But anyways, they pick Kiawe as the referee, cue that Kahuna battle graphics, and it's on. I don't want to go completely beat by beat for the battle, but it is a pretty strategic battle, so I'll talk about a couple of this moments. So in this case, Ash tries to start, but Hapu actually starts with high horsepower to try to bait Ash to use quick attack so she can use Mudsdale stamina to get her defense up, and she actually goads him into continually attacking him and continually increasing Mudsdale's defense, which is pretty smart. Then she uses high horsepower and baits Ash into trying to do another quick attack and Iron Tail combo, and remember, she first saw that combo when she first fought him, and then as Pikachu's going for the Iron Tail, she has her Mudsdale use double kick and get a pretty clean shot on Pikachu. Hapu then uses Bulldoze and Pikachu gets hit by it slightly, but for the most part it's able to avoid it. Then she uses a Bulldoze combo and Ash is able to dodge that by having Pikachu Pikachu jump from pillar to pillar like his Diamond and Pearl days. And because a bulldoze combo is essentially just her spamming bulldoze over and over, some of the pillars crack and fall into the water and splash into the stands, soaking our spectators. Hapu is then impressed that Ash is able to use his environment so well, so she decides to use her Z move. And Tectonic Rage in the anime is slightly different from the games, because in the anime it cracks the floor and Pikachu falls through, and then it has to run in this blackness, and then once it gets hit, it goes flying in the air, and the damage happens when you fly so high in the air that when you hit the ground you go splat. And of course, because you can't completely avoid a Z move even with Protect, Ash's Pikachu does get hit, and it looks like it's about to go splat when Ash tells it to calm down and use an Electro Web. And this is pretty genius. Use it in the pillars to create like a trampoline type thing, so that when it hits the Electro Web, it's gonna hit it and it's gonna bounce off like a trampoline without hitting the floor into the water. Again, it's one of those things that if other characters do it, we would question it, but Ash has been doing this for 20 years, so it's like, man, this dude just never ceases to impress me. Pikachu then comes out of the water wet, and as he's looking at Pikachu, he remembers what happens in the beach when Pikachu shocked everyone, and then he's like, I'm gonna begin my counterattack. And this is actually a brilliant strategy. He baits Hapu to get her Mudsdale to come close to the edge of the battlefield by having Pikachu just run around Mudsdale by using Quick Attack, and make Hapu think that Ash's strategy is just to tire out Mudsdale. And then once they get to the edge, he lets her attack so that she knocks down a pillar that would fall into the water and cause a giant splash and get Mudsdale soaked from the water. That way, just like a move soak, once it gets covered in water, it's not as protected from the electricity, and then it traps it with Electro Web and hits it with a Z move to finish off the match. That was really brilliant. Then for his victory prize, Hapu lets Ash choose from a box of Z Crystal, which he lets Pikachu choose, and it chooses Steelium Z. Tapu Fini also shows up after the match, and it seems to say, yeah, this is a good battle. The next day, Kukui's back to pick them up, and he's about to ask them what they did, but then they kind of cut him off and tell him anyways. Ash won the Grand Trial, Lana and Softcleats evolved their Pokemon, Kiawe got a Z Crystal, and Mallow got her menu and a Shaman, and Lily did a lot of research. Did something in that list not feel like it belonged? It was the Shaman. If it felt like I was just making it sound like it was nothing, that's because the show does that. Kukui doesn't react to this Shaman at all, and neither does Nurse Joy. At least we can say Nurse Joy probably saw it the previous day, but Kukui doesn't react to it at all, like he's seen this a million times. Hapu brings our group some radishes, everyone waves goodbye, and we end the episode off by looking under the ship, and we see that a bunch of Meltans are in the ship. What's gonna happen? The after credits scene is Nurse Joy teasing Hapu about being lonely already because she comments on how silent the island has gotten. So here's the thing, the biggest problem with this episode is the battle itself, specifically the battle animations. There's nothing interesting happening visually. We get repeated animations and we get a lot of still frames and camera pans. It feels very, and I don't like saying this, but it feels lazy. And I also think this is because they pigeonholed themselves, because the battle environment is so flat, you can only make it so interesting. Even the Z move doesn't look that great. There's no dynamic camera movement or dance. It's just very stationary and feels flat. Another problem I had is that Ash didn't have a strategy going into this battle with Pikachu. See, usually when Ash does something like this, you can excuse it because he usually has some sort of plan. There's a reason why he's using that Pokemon. But in this case, he straight up says, I don't know I'm gonna beat Mudsdale. Come on, Ash. This makes him look like a poor trainer when we can clearly see that he's a great strategizer. He's a person who reacts better on the fly. That being said though, I did like the battle itself. First of all, the music choices in here are solid, A+. And even though I did complain about the lack of Ash's strategy, his ability to come up with ideas using his environment is on full display here, and he shows why he's such a brilliant trainer. There's a good reason why he made it to the Kalos final. And I also did enjoy seeing the ritual that one has to go through to become Kahuna. In the game, you walk into Hapu after she's become chosen, and you never see what led up to it. In this one, you know everything that takes place, and I really do appreciate that because it makes the world feel bigger. It gives meaning behind the titles that certain characters have. Overall, even though the fight itself wasn't spectacular visually, I still enjoyed it pretty well. The strategy in the fight is really what brings it over the top for me. Also, usually we only get to see Ash's side of a battle, his strategies, but this time they opted to show both people's thoughts and feelings, both Ash and Hapu. Hapu baiting Ash, Ash baiting Hapu. It really did feel like a game of chess, which usually Pokemon battles don't feel like. It feels like a game of moves. So even though I didn't like the animation, I still say this is a great episode. If you haven't watched it already, check it out. But anyways, that's it for my Pokemon Sun and Moon review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRealPDGaming, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.